Hey there, paper geeks and glitter nerds, it's another crazy geek crafter. The year has turned and it's once again time for making a Valentine's Day card. Not my specialty, especially if you prefer those with a lot of pink. Not really my style. And this card actually does fall quite far from what I normally do when I make a card. It is very close to something called a cash card. It means clean and simple. But I did put some foam tape on, and I think that disqualifies it as an actual cash card. I have my image here. It's a Chameleon, and I'm stamping it in gray to hide the lines a bit. The black can be a bit harsh when you're making images, and I actually do like using the gray instead. I stamp out the image first, since it has to dry before I start coloring it, or it will bleed. That's my experience, at least. Sometimes if I have a lot of stamps, I do it the day before, because it takes a bit of time to stamp a lot of things, and then the next day I can color them. But here I'm just going to make the card instead, and then and then color the image. I'm looking for my stencils to see if I have anything useful. I wanted to make it with the focal point in the corner, like here, but I don't have a heart-shaped stencil, like the heart I draw here. So I'm trying to figure out how it would look if I want to make this stencil, or if I can do without it. I do prefer to make these when I'm not quite sure what I'm doing and how things will go. It's easy, and it doesn't really take that much time compared to how much time it will make the card take if you don't have one of these tryouts or mock-ups, whatever you'll call them. And I didn't hate the hearts for leaves, but I didn't love them either, so I'm trying out something else. I have a punch here. It's from Flying Tiger of Copenhagen, I'm pretty sure, at least. And then I don't have any dies for branches, so I was trying out this coral die instead. And then I'll make some leaves and see if I can make that work. I have gotten close enough to what I want that I dare pull out the white card base. That's also fearful for me, because I usually get smudges on it somehow. That's another reason why I normally don't really make cards like this with a lot of white, because I tend to mess it up. But since I didn't have the stencil I wanted, I was looking for my collection of old cutouts even from when I was a child. Some of these are really, really old. And this size was about right, but it wasn't very nice anymore. You can really see how I've used it a lot in my time. So I ended up going to the BrotherScan'n'Cut and making stencils. Though I didn't really want to, but I needed one, and then I made 4. Why not? When I started, I couldn't really not. So I made a heart shape, a square shape, a circle, and a pentagon. That's the word. I spaced them out so that I would have about a card size around them of plastic to cover up whatever I was working on, but you can still put them in the corner or in the top, whatever you want. There should be enough space. Like you see here, I shouldn't be able to smudge my background, but of course it's me, who knows. I am taping it down very securely, because I really don't want this to move when I start inking on it, since it is the background, the actual background of the card. Then I'll have to make a new panel and put that on top. I really didn't want to. So after I put the tape on my pants to make it a little bit less sticky, I taped down the stencil, and this is another stencil I've made myself. It's to make clouds. I'll link the video in the corner, by the way, on how I make stencils with my ScanNCut, if you want to see or learn or something, just if you're curious. I did tack down the point of the heart because I was afraid it was going to move on me, and then I'm going to be using pinks, since a little bit of pink doesn't hurt, right? And it does help to reveal the shape, because pink and hearts go together, you know. But I didn't want it too much pink, so that's why I am making it less and less pink towards the bottom. I should maybe have done an extra row of clouds right at the very bottom, because when I peel off the stencil, the shape of the heart kind of disappears, and I can't really figure out where it ends when I put on my my Chameleon. And I managed not to ruin the card front. Yay me! So far I have been happy with my stencils. I don't know the duration they'll keep yet, but it's a work in progress, I guess. Using them and finding out how far they'll go. If it's worth the money, if it's worth not spending the money on commercially made pieces. But here's the coloring, and I never knew that green would bleed this much, but it will. Luckily, I always cut to the line and not with a border like some people do. I prefer it cut close, so you won't be able to see all the places where this bleeds, but it does affect how I color the little lines on the Chameleon's back and its eye, because it will bleed into that. But enjoy. He did turn out cute, didn't he? And now here's his branches. Now I'm not gonna cut him yet because he's still very wet from the coloring, and that might tear the paper when I try to turn around the little legs. So I'll leave him to dry and carry on with my card. And for now I need a sentiment, and luckily this stamp set comes with one. Now that my Chameleon is dry, I used the heat gun to heat him up. I can cut him out, and I figured that the scissors were not going to do with those tiny legs. I was going to need my knife for that. So I am very carefully cutting out his underside, and then I can use the scissors for the rest of him. That's quite an easy shape. And it's actually easier to make these big round cuts with the scissors compared to the knife, in my opinion, that is. So he's going to be so cute. I did fear that I was going to hurt his little legs with the scissors, or even with the knife actually, but it turned out quite nicely. Yeah. And then I'm going to need a Memento marker to color the edge of him. Now the tip on this one, at the London fog, I don't know why it frays. I've bought two and they both did it right away. The black ones never do. I still haven't figured out what goes wrong. But I found that if I put my image on a piece of paper and draw around it with the slim end of the marker, I can still color in the paper that way. Now I need to cut my sentiments and figure out how to compose the front of this card. You already knew this from the thumbnail that I was not going to use the hearts or the coral leaf for something for the Chameleon to sit on, but I wanted to show you that you can always change your mind. So I'm just going to glue him on the sentiment so that you can still see the sky quite clearly. I felt that the branches and the hearts were too much. Not to say that I won't use it some other time, but when it's this small a focal point, I don't think it's the right choice. And now, since I'm putting foam tape on this, like I said in the beginning, I don't think this actually counts as a cash card. But this is the closest I get, I think. So, this was a very simple card, all in all, compared to how I normally tackle things with lawn fawn, but I think it's very cute. Here we go. And now I only need the embellishment. And it was a bit hard to actually put anything on this because I actually do love it as it is, but since it is Valentine's, I thought glitter was necessary. Not a lot, just a little bit of glitter, tiny bit of glitter. And I think that actually did it. I hope you enjoyed this card, and next week I'll be doing another part of my haunted house, so if you are into that, I hope you'll be back. Until then, I hope you'll be having a good day, evening, or night.